We're going to go and we're going to ask the question concerning the qira'at that you can find, the different qira'at schools that you can find in the world today. Hatun Tash is a colleague of mine. She lives in London. She's from Turkey. She used to be a Muslim herself. She has taken it upon herself to try to find as many of these different qira'at Qur'ans, different Qur'ans from different schools. And she has been able to find 31. I'm just going to put up on the graph, and let's just go look at it now. Let's look at just 23 of them. And each one of them, there is the Al-Susi Qira'at Qur'an. That's from the Al-Susi school, or actually it's a student named Al-Susi.
Abu Ja'far.
There's Abu Ja'far. If you go up, you can just do these names because you can speak a lot better than I can. Yaqub.
And this one الدوري أبو عمرو الدوري البصري أيضا ابن عامر خليل خلف I'm sorry from far away
Al-Layth ibn
Khalil. Yes, Al-Layth ibn Khalil. That's the one. Warsh.
Now this is just one of a number of warshes. This is the first one. That's number one.
There's another two. Warsh.
Al-Asbahani.
Right. Ibn
Jamaz.
Another one of Al-Duri.
This is actually interesting because this is the same Duri.
That's right.
He did two. He contradicted himself later on. You'll see why.
This one is
Khalif.
Khalaf again, yes. And we have Al-Kasari. Al-Kasari, yes, okay. That's right, yeah.
That one's too small to read even for me.
Yeah.
But can you see, I'm putting these up there. I'll go a little quicker now because so we don't run out of time.
Again, it's kind of like small letters for us, so don't think like we don't know how to read the words, but they're just too tiny for us.
I want to just show you, these are 23 that she has put up in this particular slide.
And those are available, by the way, right? I mean, she found them in
well, this is a photograph of the ones in her own library in London. Right. This is what we have.
And what I'm saying, where she found them, they were available. It's not like she went and got it from a museum.
And we took these 23 down to Speaker's Corner and go up on Fander Films and just see what happened. When the Muslims, they went berserk. It's great if you go up on Fander Films and see how they try to grab them out of our hands even as we were leaving.
But why did they go berserk? I thought they said it's just Qur'an. So what's the issue?
They had no idea that there were these many differences because we were not just looking at the different Qur'ans and holding them up. We were actually comparing the Hafs, this one here, with every one of these other 22. So we were looking at this one and comparing them, and we were showing them that there are enormous differences, and we did that in our episodes last year. So I don't want to repeat it. But before we go any further, I want you to look at this graph here. This is Hatun's graph that she put together, looking at the 23 Qur'ans. I want you to look at, let's zero in on that black circle that I've just put up there.
Which is Hafs.
That's a little hard. Let's get another graph. Let's look at this one here. That black circle is the Hafs that we're talking about, that is our current Qur'an. But look at all those names on the right side. If you can read them closer, you see Al-Bazi, you see Kunbal, you see Warish, you see Qalun, Hisham,
correct,
Ibn Zwan, Khalid. But look at right next to them, there are numbers. When you look at Al-Bazir at the very top, there's 1,094 next to his number. That means there's 1,094 variants between his Quran and the Quran that we're using today.
Correct.
Coming on down, look at Qalum. There is 1,700 variants. Coming on down to Abu Ala al-Harith, coming about halfway down the page.
Yes.
From Kufa, there are 5,000 differences between his Quran and the Quran that we have today.
That's right.
And when we get to the Quran we have today, it is Hafs. See Hafs there? It's circled in black. He is from the school of Kufa. That means the city of Kufa.
That's
there
right,
are
which
5
is in
different
southern
cities.
Iraq.
You can see Mecca, Medina, Damascus, Kufa, and Basra. Those are the 5 cities that these Qurans come from. The next group of names are the teachers, and then there's sub-teachers, and then you have the students. And it's these students that were creating these different qira'at Qurans, different readings of the Quran. Now, we have counted about 37 that are there on this graph. That means there should be 37 different Qurans that we should be able to find Right now, we found 31 of them. Give us more time. We're still looking in Morocco and Jordan. We're looking around the different marketplaces. That's where you find them. They've all have been published. We'll probably find all 37 of them. But hold on a minute. Look at the dates. Look at the dates of these names.
Right.
Look carefully.
Right.
What are the dates are? 786, 864 AD, 810.
So Ibn Amr is the oldest out of all of them, and he himself still about almost 100 years later.
Look when he died. The guy that we're using, the one that we are using today, Hafs, that's circled in black, look when he died, 796. That is the late 8th century.
That's right.
Muhammad died in 632. Supposedly, Uthman finalized the Quran in 652. We're now back to 796 before we finally get the Quran that they use today. But we don't even know if this is from Hafs because we don't have Hafs' original Quran.
That's right. That's right.
This is only something they decided in 1924
and here's the
was
thing.
Hafs.
In 1924, for instance, like if you open any Bible translation, ESV, New American Standard, and so on and so forth, they'll mention to you that the translation committee chose to rely on certain family of manuscripts. But that wasn't the case in the 1924 Quran. It was relied on oral transmission of Hafs. Oral transmission, not a written manuscript.
Now, why is that important?
That's important because you're telling me that the Quran you have in your hand today somehow survived the last 13 centuries orally being transmitted without anything to substantiate that in a written form.
Now, you hear this all the time. People always say, I don't care about the manuscript. Shabirani even said this when he was confronted on this. Well, wait a minute.
Well, I hope he will care after this show.
Well, he said, I don't really care about it because we know that they were memorized. What did they memorize?
Which Qur'an did they memorize?
Did they memorize Khalid's or
That's
Warsh or Duri's? In fact, which of the two Duri's? Because he even contradicts himself.
Even Hafs, we have multiple different versions of Hafs.
We have
by
about
the way.
6 or 7 different
That's right.
Hafs.
Yeah.
Same thing of Warsh.
And his character, by the way, has been attacked anyway.
Yes, because he's very weak. Now, before we end, it's important that we understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about the Qira'at traditions created in the late 8th century, early 9th century,
That's right.
100 to 140 years after Muhammad and death, and certainly after Uthman.
And that's right.
This is not even the same century. So how can you have any supposition that Uthman had different readings? These readings don't even come into existence.
That's right.
Until the 8th century,
So you
9th
have
century.
Ibn Mujahid, 300 years later, decided that there is 7 basically readings that are canonized. So out of what? Out of many qira'at. So who gave him the right to decide which 7 were they?
And
it's
even
based on a
if
weak
that-
tradition, by the way, the hadith.
Even if that were true, what then was he burning? Because he did burn all the manuscripts.
Uthman, you know what I mean?
Uthman burned
That's right.
all these manuscripts that disagreed. They couldn't have disagreed with diacritical or Qira'at. There were no
Disagreed
Qira'at
with
in
his own
existence.
choice.
Evidently, he was burning the consonantal rasm.
Yeah, because he wanted to standardize it. So who gave him permission, by the way, to do this?
He was a caliph. You don't need permission once you're a caliph.
That's-
Do you know who's Hafs? Hafs accused by Muslim to be a thief and a fraud. Do you know that?
Go ahead.
You can go right now, type in Google, Hafs was a fraud, Hafs was a thief, Hafs was a liar. The hadith of Hafs is rejected. Why? Because he's a liar. So how a guy who is accused to be a thief by Muslims, not by me, a guy who create hadith, yada'ul hadith, a guy who fabricate hadith, how a guy like this, you can carry the Quran from him? And not only that, guess what? He himself, he learned the Quran from who? From Asim. Do you know who's Asim?
Go ahead.
I guess you have no idea. Asim is his stepfather. The stepfather of Hafs is the same as Hafs. Both of them, they are a scam and accused by Muslims, all scholars, that they are scammers. So you don't have a Quran, you have a Hafs, a scammer book. Actually, even him himself, he don't have his book. You say that this is according recitation of Hafs, the same Al-Bukhari. There's no book Al-Bukhari. Until now, Muslims don't have a book of Al-Bukhari. Do you know that?
We don't have the book of Al-Bukhari?
No, you don't. The book of Al-Bukhari, you have books claiming that this is a copy of the copy of the copy of the Bukhari, but nobody have Al-Bukhari and nobody have Sahih Muslim. Nobody.
Okay.
So your Quran is based in a thief, based on a fraud. He and his father, who came more than 200 years after Muhammad. So how you say to me the Quran was carried by blah blah blah? He said the preserve. What preserve?
The Quran was written by Uthman radiallahu anhu, okay?
My friend, where is Uthman? Here we go. Look how many names. Look how many. Look, my friend. Do you have? Okay, you just said written by Uthman. Do you have the book of Uthman?
This is the book of the Uthman Quran.
No, this is it says in the front of you. You read Arabic. You claim you read Arabic, right? Riwayah too. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see riwayah.
Okay, so if you have riwayah to Hafs, you don't. If you have Uthman, listen.
This is not the only page that you will judge the whole Quran.
This is the whole Quran. This is the beginning of the Quran. They are telling you this is according to who. So from the beginning it says this is according to the riwayah, not according to Uthman. If you have the book of Uthman, you do not need Hafs. Listen. If you have the book of Uthman, who need Hafs? Nobody. Correct?
Okay, go.
Do you understand me?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, if you have the original, let us say you have my book Christian Prince, then you do not need to say that somebody this is according to Christian Prince. We have the book of Christian Prince. Who need the according to? Nobody. But because you don't have any of those books, then you have to go by according to, and this is why we see here according to Hafs ibn Sulaiman ibn Mughira, according to Asim, according to Abdul Rahman of Abdullah, according to etc., according to the Prophet. So all this according starting from who? From Hafs, and Hafs is a fraud.
Hafs is not a fraud.
read with me. قال عبد الرحمن بن أبي حاتم عن عبد الله عن متروك الحديث، وقال عمر عن محمد بن شعيب الصابوني عن حنبل بن إسحاق عن أحمد بن حنبل قال عثمان etc. عن حنبل بن إسحاق عن أحمد بن حنبل. They are quoting for you all those kind of names, and they are saying what? That his hadith is matruk. Read carefully with me, and then he says قال أبو قدامة وعثمان بن سعيد الدرمي عن يحيى بن معين ليس بالثقة, is not trustworthy. وقال علي ابن المديني ضعيف الحديث وتركته على عمد. He is a person who, you know, we cannot trust him. Then he continue وقد فرغ منه الدهر, he is a liar. وقال البخاري تركوه, all hadith is matruk, that's it, we throw it. وقال مسلم متروك صحيح مسلم. وقال النسائي ليس بثقة, النسائي he said is not trustworthy. And then he says وقال في موضع آخر متروك. وقال صالح بن محمد البغدادي لا يكتب حديثه وأحاديثه كلها مناكير, all of it is a lie, all of it. And then let us continue. Let us quote more. Hold on, we are not done. Okay, here we go. وقال أبو أحمد بن عدي عن الساجي عن أحمد بن محمد البغدادي عن يحيى بن معين كان حفص بن سليمان وأبو بكر بن عياش من أعلم الناس بقراءة عاصم وكان etc. وكان كذابا. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
Okay, so you Muslims saying he's a liar, he's a fraud, and let me show you more. This is not only, we are not done. I just searched in Google, just like a random search, and we got, there's tons of reference speaking about how stupid this man is. Read with me. Look at this reference. This is from Al-Bukhari At-Tarikh Al-Kabir, variant number 2. Al-Bukhari At-Tarikh Al-Saghir, variant number 2, page number 233. سكتوا عنه ومنكر الحديث. Read with me carefully. This is Al-Bukhari Al-Du'afa Al-Saghir, رقم الصفحة 35. This is your Muslim website, not my website. I'm just reading what they have there. حفص بن سليمان بن الأسد أبو عمر عن علقمة عن وقال أحمد بن حنبل. You know who's that, right? This is not a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. He said قال يحيى أخبرني شعبة قال أخذ مني حفص بن سليمان كتابا فلم يرده. قال وكان يأخذ الكتب الناس فينسخها. He is a thief. He copied the books of people and he write it and he says this is my book.
The thing is,
listen. Al-Albani ضعيف سنن الترمذي. He says, read carefully, and you know ضعيف جدا. All what he says, he is a, you know, he says ويضعف الحديث. Al-Albani, all of those references in front of you. So سمعت أبي يقول حفص بن سليمان يعني أبو عمر القارئ متروك الحديث. His hadith is thrown in the garbage. Why? Because he's a liar. Read, continue. All of this is your Islamic website, Islamic reference. So you are taking the Quran from a thief, literally accused to be a thief. So
We're
how?
not taking it from him. We took it from Osman ibn anhu.
My friend,
Okay.
we are talking about no, we are talking about the Quran you have today. You have it from
The
Hafs.
Quran that we have today is from Osman ibn
No,
anhu.
you
That's
you
the
don't
Quran
you
that
don't
was
have the
revealed to
book of
Muhammad.
Osman. You have what Hafs recite to you.
Not how to recite it to us. It's Muslim recited to the Sahaba, and the Sahaba.
Do you have the book?
He
No,
collected it,
you
they
have
compiled it
no.
at the time
This
of
is
Umar
according.
Umar
I showed you the image. This is according to the recitation of Hafs, and not only that, not only
not a
Hafs is a thief,
recitation of Hafs.
even
Maybe you
Asim.
know Hajjaj bin Yusuf, right?
Come on,
You know.
just go. Let some Muslim try.